But football's become soft like our country has become soft.
And so having said that, I want me some glory.
This dude's in some shit. I'm going to drink a lot of Budweiser tonight, Tracy, and I promise you that.
Hello? You play to win the game.
I hate football!
They're like, Pat, how'd you punt so well today? I'm like, good question.
Did you realize that you were a champion in their eyes? Yes, I did. So I packed it up and brought it back to the crib.
You know, AJ, Pat, one of the great movies of all time, one of my all-time favorites, I've been Shawshanked by this more than any other movie, is Patton. And there's a great line in there, written, the screenplay by Francis Ford Coppola, where Patton says, I'm a man of many faults, but ingratitude is not one of them. I say that about me. It's Thanksgiving week, and I will tell you in all sincerity, one of the things I'm most grateful for is this little rocket ship to the moon that we're on, to hang out with you guys and talk about my two favorite subjects every week, which is pro football and utter fucking nonsense. So welcome. Happy Thanksgiving week to both of you. Pat, man, thanks for
Jerry, I'm thankful.
Thanks for making this happen.
Jerry, I'm thankful for you, bud. You guide this ship in a proper manner. And AJ, I'm thankful for you. I didn't know that a number 5 draft pick in the NFL could ever be this cool, good-looking, and so goddamn healthy. He just had 14 protein shakes and a bunch of pills, healthy vitamin B pills, and snacks in a piss jar right before we started. He's one of the most healthy humans I've ever seen in my life. I'm thankful for that, but I'm also thankful for holiday cash. You need it, and I know where to get it. MyBookie is the place to score some serious cash on your sports predictions. Believe it or not, the holidays are just around the corner. Can you believe it, AJ?
No.
Jerry?
I absolutely cannot. I still can't figure out that this is Thanksgiving week. I feel like it's July.
Well, the holidays are just around the corner, Jerry, and while that means plenty of parties, gift, and spending, it also means there's a lot of football, basketball, and hockey games you can win big on every single day. Man up or woman up and play like the pros on game day. You can play the money line, side, or total. MyBookie is your hookup for all your betting needs and offers super fast payouts when you win. You win now, you get paid now. Where you bet is just as important as who you're betting on. And if you want to make money betting the games, you got to go to mybookie.ag. They're the only site I'd recommend. I trust them, but you don't have to take my word for it. Check them out for yourself. They have odds on every matchup and a mobile site that makes wagering on your smartphone a
breeze.
A breeze.
Yeah, what just happened?
They have odds on every matchup and a mobile site that makes wagering on your smartphone a AJ?
What is that? Is that a tornado?
It's a breeze. They have odds on every matchup and a mobile site that makes wagering on your smartphone a what's that, AJ?
A breathalyzer test?
It's not a blow and go. It's not a blow.
Vaporizer?
It's not my vaporizer. It's not my gravity bong. They have odds on every matchup and a mobile site that makes wagering on your smartphone a
breeze.
Breeze. There it is. Boy, it took us a while to get there, team. I'm happy we did. Join now and MyBookie will match your deposit with up to a 50% bonus. Use promo code LACES to activate the offer. LACES to activate the offer. Visit mybookie.ag today. MYBOOKIE.ag today. You play, you win, you get paid. A mobile site that makes wagering on the go.
You know what, Pat McAfee, I want to get to Breeze very soon. But first, I want to talk about Thanksgiving.
Wow.
How's that? How's that for a transition? That's the A block right there. Got that all lined up.
That was incredible.
For real, though, I don't know how you guys are, how you rank your holidays. I'm a big Christmas guy, love 4th of July. But if the three of us sat around and brainstormed a holiday, just from scratch, just built a holiday, wouldn't it be exactly what Thanksgiving is? It's goddamn perfect. It's, what do? You wake up in the morning, you day drinking is culturally acceptable. It's football. It's not just food, it's comfort food. There's no baking, there's no shopping, there's no going out anywhere, there's no finding costumes. It's just indulge yourself and watch goddamn football the way God intended, the way Abraham Lincoln drew it up back in the 1860s.
Yep, exactly how Abraham Lincoln drew it up. But now I'm with you here, Jerry. I love Thanksgiving. I think it's the second greatest American holiday on earth behind 4th of July. And I believe Thanksgiving is a great time. It's a picture of what America was before the wars, all the wars happened. You know, that's like whenever things were just getting started. Here's some corn. Let me teach you this. And then later on, some other things happen. You know, people turned against each other that were at said meal. Some bad shit happened. There's some sketchy times in the past. All right. But we're in a good spot now. And I think we're going towards a better place. I think we take the food from Thanksgiving, by far the greatest. Stuffing is the best thing on earth. If you don't enjoy stuffing, I very much question if you're a member of ISIS or not. I'm serious, too. I think that should be a real question. You can either get into our country or you cannot. How do you feel about stuffing? Because vegans can even like it because there's no goddamn meat in there. I mean, stuffing is just magical. You take the turkey. The drumstick is one of the best things ever invented. Hello, dark meat. Sure. It just tastes so fantastic in my mouth. I've been eating like a caveman since I was 8 at the family holidays. Give me the fucking stick. You guys eat the bland, dry, white meat from, I guess, the round part of the chicken. I'll take the goddamn leg. Give me the active one. Give me the fucking leg, all right? The food's great. Ham is incredible. Plus, you got all the pies and shit. Thanksgiving's awesome. But let's add the glitz and glamour of Christmas. Let's not undersell how fantastic it makes you feel to see a house lit up or when you walk in it, or to maybe just have a little lights on inside the house. The glitz and glamour that the Christians have done for Jesus' birthday is truly an immaculate thing. You tag team that with the Thanksgiving food in the freedom of 4th of July, now I think you're talking about a real perfect holiday. You give me fireworks and fucking nonsense in the name of freedom, plus the meal, plus the glitz and glamour of Christmas. I think we're really onto something. And Halloween, I would really like Halloween a lot if it didn't like entice children to show up at random people's fucking house. I don't think I'm a biggest fan of that, but that's just how I feel. So that's my perfect holiday. So I'm thankful for Thanksgiving, but I think we could make a glory hole of holidays if we really wanted to dig into it.
AJ, your thoughts?
Wow. I mean, what kind of thought can I have after that? A glory hole of holidays. So Thanksgiving is the glory hole of holidays?
No, the one I just described with the glitz and glamour from Christmas and also the freedom of 4th of July. So you mix those three together.
Got it. I got it. Yeah. I mean, yeah. You said Thanksgiving. We got a really good thing going. Hopefully, it sticks around. Maybe it does. I don't know. What do you think, Pat?
Yeah.
People are anti-Thanksgiving, by the way. People are anti-Thanksgiving.
Why? Who?
A lot of people are. They talk about how Americans are rude and how very rude white people are rude. What is it, Vibs?
Okay, let's dress up to eat. That's like putting a condom on and watching porn. It's just
who dresses up? You don't have to dress up.
Oh,
what are you talking about?
Dress up to eat.
That's why you hate Thanksgiving, bro?
Well, and the turkey's always shitty. It's always dry and like, oh.
No, you take the leg. I just gave you the fucking game plan.
The active
Pat
one.
just told you he likes the juicy dark meat in his mouth. He told you that.
Yeah, give me that leg. Give me that juicy dark meat in my mouth. Thanksgiving's what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
isolate. Put it in the intro.
Yeah. We have a new opening to the show. And by the way, if you're dressing up for Thanksgiving, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah, what the fuck?
You know what?
I think Vibs grew up in a Mormon house. I really do.
This isn't Jerry, the Thornton family going to Christmas Eve mass before they come home. You don't have to dress up.
By the way, not a bad church service to go to is the Christmas Eve one. They really get into all the good stories. Then.
Pretty bad, really. You have to make reservations 6 months in advance if you want a seat, though.
I'd like a pew, please.
You got to get your ass there.
Aisle seat, not window, please. In the pew, thank you. Row 7. I want to be just far away from him so he knows that I'm not drunk, but so he knows that I'm there.
Right. And it's those people that you haven't seen since Easter, and they show up and they try to save 27 seats. No, you don't do that.
Oh, wait. Just because you go every Sunday, you're entitled to more seats in God's house than the people who don't? Wow.
No, I need one seat for my one ass. That's it.
Wow.
Not one person saving 27 so you can show up at the last second and expect me to stand. Yeah, no way. And that's the great thing about Thanksgiving. It involves none of those. I live walking distance from
Frank Lucas
shouldn't
have went to church that day with his mom, by the way. Just now that I'm thinking about it, Frank Lucas should have never went to church with his mom that day. I think it was Christmas Eve or Thanksgiving, one of them. And he went to church with his mom. Should have never went. He went to jail. I feel like church is just like a really happening place on Christmas Eve and Easter. I've never been. I would love to know what it's like on Easter. Are they telling that? Are they telling that story on Christmas Eve or on Easter?
Nah, they don't really touch it.
They have to.
It is a much better take on Christmas Eve than it is going to the 7 a.m. after the night of a comedy show like I did this Sunday, totally hungover and banged up and feeling miserable. Believe me, Jesus and I were not on a first name basis.
Oh, you went to church? You went to church a little guilty, huh? That's what the hockey guys
No.
said. Yeah, you went a little guilty. Yeah, you went to church a little guilty. Tied one on Saturday night. That's what they said to me.
Yeah, I just wanted breakfast, man. But I had to go. I had to get that out of the way. I had to meet that obligation. Thanksgiving, there's no church. Again, there's no decorating. In my world, there's no dressing up. You walk to the football game at the high school. Maybe you have a hip flask, or maybe there's something in that coffee cup that nobody knows about. And then you come home, and then you cook. And it's the easiest food in the world to cook. Vibs, I don't know who's overcooking your turkey. Buy them a meat thermometer. It costs $8. And it will solve all their problems.
Phipps, he said he can solve your meat problems.
No.
No,
It's
Phipps
always
says
dry.
no.
It's always
dry. He needs the dark meat. There was something you said in there that I wanted to talk. Oh, turkey bowls. Turkey bowls are a big American tradition. Turkey bowls. You said walk to the local high school?
Jerry, yeah. Do you play, Jerry?
No, my kids my oldest son played in the high school. So I went to his games, and now his younger brother's in the band. So there's always a game, and you go and you play the next town over. It's a rival game.
Oh, it's like a real.
You guys play real games?
Like that's pretty serious.
Oh, it's the actual high school game. You don't have that? I thought that was
Wait, what do you mean?
What do you mean?
High school
Friday night lights, cuz. Friday nights.
Shit, no.
Yeah.
You play a real football game with pads on Thanksgiving Day?
Yeah, absolutely. And even if you're like in the Super Bowl, like my town was last year, won their division in the state Super Bowl, that's like later on.
That's genius.
They call it the state finals.
I wanted to hate on that.
Thing.
No, we call it the Super Bowl here.
Wait,
I'm exposing you to my culture.
Playoffs are over. Is that a Boston thing? I feel like the playoffs are almost over here in Ohio, at least.
Every Massachusetts high school has their rival game on Thanksgiving.
That
10
is
a.m.
so awesome. That's incredible. That's like a good idea.
That's kind of cool. A 10 a.m. game feels like a JV game. That's not Friday Night Lights. That would feel really dead and weird energy.
Yeah, but if the entire town went, it'd be like pretty cool, I feel like.
It's a class reunion. It's people that never went to the games when they were in high school show up when they're out of high school because it's a get together and everyone's home for the. And for me, what's great about it is
there's so much.
Me from having
oh my God. The kids that just went to college and are coming home for their first family break, they're all fucking so hard during that fucking football game. Oh, the freshmen. Oh my God. That's like
the biggest night of the year is Friday after Thanksgiving, Pat. You know that because everyone comes home from college and then they all go out in your hometown. So that's like the number one night and everyone comes back. If you say you're from a school in the Midwest or whatever, and you go to like Kentucky or Georgia, you come back with a fake country accent already, especially.
Oh yeah, you're learning a lot about people.
Yeah, I've been at school for 6 weeks, and now I have this crazy stuff all of a sudden because I went to school in Cincinnati. Like that's basically what happens to a lot of kids when they come back for Friday.
Tell me about the kid that happened to in your life that makes you say that. Like, who is the kid? What's the guy's name? I want to hear.
I can't name just one. There's multiple people that's happened to.
Nuge?
Absolutely not. No, Nuge would never do that. Nuge could live. He could live in Mississippi for 40 years and would have the exact same haircut, the same hair paste, and same dress, the exact same no matter what.
Nuge had a big night tonight for the Cowboys. Big night for the Cowboys.
Yeah, he's kicking well, man. How about it? Their kicker comes back soon, though, doesn't he? I know Nuge knows the deal, and hopefully, if the Cowboys let him roll, someone else gets him.
They're saying next week, maybe not Thanksgiving Day, but
Nuge might be on the Eagles next week. Nuge might be playing for the Philadelphia Eagles next week.
He easily could be. He's just going to flip sides. What if? Yeah, he should just fly home with them, maybe.
What if he? Because we record this game or this show in the middle of the game, so we started halftime. So Nuge had a big first half. I don't know how he's doing now, but there is a good chance that Nuge is playing for the Eagles next week.
They just showed the GM of Philly on TV texting on his phone. What are the odds that he's texting the Cowboys back? Hey man, I know you're gonna probably let Nuge roll. He's probably texting Nuge's agent. Hey, does he have a backpack? He can just come back with us.
Let's save a flight. We already got one chartered. Just hop on the plane. Even celebrate if we win. Celebrate with us because you're a part of our team now. Have a good time.
Right.
Have a good time.
You're
with
the
us.
kicker, so it doesn't really matter as long as you kicked well. It's fine. Whatever the score is.
Yeah.
And by the way, if you miss a couple of kicks at the end, no problem. We're not going to hold that against you when you're kicking for us next Sunday.
I mean, that's a real possibility. How long is their kicker out in Philly? Do we know?
It's going to be at least a week. If he's out tonight, he's going to be out next week for sure. I mean, unless they're saying he gets through concussion protocol in the next couple of days, but who knows? If you're sitting out in the middle of a game, that seems to be pretty fucking big deal, right? I mean, that's a pretty big deal.
Well, he was concussion protocol, so they won't let him go back. Teams are for good reason. They're scared to death to put a guy back in who started the protocol, I guess, because you can catch all kind of heat.
Yeah. Is it me because we're doing this show with Pat now, or has this been the most extreme bipolar year in the history of kicking?
Every year it's like this. Nobody notices. I was real excited to get a chance to put a spotlight on this. Kickers are wild every single year. Nobody has a clue. So much dumb and crazy shit happens on fourth downs that nobody has a clue why it's happening or how it's happening. And I very much enjoyed it. It's every fucking year.
No. Pat, it started, though, once they moved the extra point back. That just threw a wrench in all of the kickers' brains, I feel like.
I feel like it really did put a little because what's his face, Kai Forbath for the Vikings, he's missed like 5 extra points, and he didn't miss his first field goal until today, or his second field goal until today. So it was like, it's a bit of a test. It's a challenge, but fourth downs are fucking wild. It's a party there. You have no idea what the fuck's going to happen. You could completely lose the game because of a guy you've never even heard of before snaps the ball terribly, and you never.
Are you like me? I'm 150% behind what they've done to the extra points, because that was a non-play. When you're converting anything at 99.9% or 99.7%, whatever it was, then why bother? Like, what are we doing here? Why am I waiting for 22 guys to take the field and then kick, and then you go to commercial, then you come back, and then there's a touchback, and you go to another commercial? Even just moving it back that slight amount was fantastic. Like, it's turned it into a play again.
Listen to this shit. So when that whole process was happening, like there was a wanted sign, like a Craigslist ad, like we want ideas on how to fix the extra point, like to all of the owners. So all of the owners had like a homework assignment on how to fix the extra point, right? And then they'd go to these owners meetings and they'd pitch their ideas. Carly Ursay one time pitched at the 60-yard extra point. It would be from midfield. It would be a 60-yard extra point. At one point, that was pitched. I just want to let in public, that was said. So then obviously that got shot down. And then one of the scouts for the Indianapolis Colts went up to a rugby game in Chicago because Grigson was going to leave no stone unturned. He was going to find every rugby player that could potentially be a terrible football player and make sure they were an Indianapolis Colt, whether or not he was fucking going to live through it or not. But anyways, so there was like a brainstorm conversation after this rugby conversation that maybe the extra points should be handled like rugby kicks. Okay. So the scout that went there was in a real conversation with people who can make real decisions, I think, comes up to me and Vinatieri and says, how do you think teams and kickers would respond to like a rugby style extra point where you kick from the side that you score on? And it's just like, and Vinatieri's losing his mind, right? I am having a blast with this. I'm like, maybe we give them a stage to kick on. It'll be like on the side, and it'll be like they get intro music and like maybe even some smoke. Then you can make it like a real entertaining event. Like now on, coming from the fucking 30-yard line on a stage all by himself, the kicker for an extra point. And the guy was like, oh yeah, not a bad idea. Maybe we give them their own zone to kick from. I'm like, yeah, like a zone. Like maybe like smoke and glitz and all that stuff. And Vinatieri's like, we're not fucking serious, are we? And I was like, no, I was joking there. And the guy was like, oh, so not a good idea. They were looking for the answer however they could. And moving it back to the 15, I think very much solved a lot of issues because you at least, like, if you're betting on it, like that, every single time you're watching it, like, God damn. Like, I hope you make it, or it's easy that you think he could miss. There's a chance that it could miss. And that's a big deal for somebody that's watching, is the chance for failure.
I once took a call when I was on WEEI in Boston. A caller wanted, and I don't think it was his invention. I think he had heard this and was repeating it, that the guy who scores the touchdown should be the one that has to kick the extra point. It's like why don't we? Yeah, that's what I want. Marshawn Lynch.
I like
kicking
that.
Field goals.
I like it.
Like, again, it's
AJ
not.
Hawk was a kicker.
You know, it's not American Ninja Warrior. Let's just move the line of scrimmage back, and so instead of it being 99.7, it's now whatever. It's 97. At least it keeps you in your seat for a minute because you go, you know what? Even the best kickers miss these things once in a while. But I'm with you, Pat. It made everything go haywire. Like now,
I just wish they would have had that stage. Imagine if there was that stage, though. Like, imagine if there was like a stage that raised.
That'd be a tough snap too. The snapper's got to snap.
No snapping. It was just a guy with a hole, just the ball. You know what I mean? Like a tee, like rugby. Because remember, it all stemmed from that rugby conversation. So I really wanted to just roll that thing into potentially its own stage.
What if you kept it up close and you just made him drop kick it?
With a line or without a line?
Nobody. Just have him out there solo. Nobody. That'd be really weird.
I would enjoy that. I was a good drop kicker, but it takes so much time. It takes so much time to be good, like to hit a good ball. That's why that Doug Flutie thing that happened up there with the Patriots, Vinatieri was like on a points, like he was maybe it was like 100th point or something like that for like a certain amount of years in a row. And they were thinking about doing that Doug Flutie thing. And they, like, Vinatieri was like, okay, let's make sure let's make sure we get our points here, though. Like he said he thought there was a chance he was going to get screwed out of that. And then I guess he got it. And I'm assuming Belichick already knew that. But it's just so incredible to think about a guy walking out there with fucking 11 guys trying to run at him while he catches a ball, drops it on its tip perfectly, and tries to swing. It's just an interesting art that I see absolutely no benefit in. And
today was crazy extremes, like in kicks. I don't know if you caught the end of Detroit at Chicago. Well, Connor Barth.
Yikes.
Like, perfect snap. You tell me if it was a perfect snap. It looked to me like it was. Perfect hold looked to me like it was. That ball,
especially after Prater goes out there and just fucking dongs one from 52 and screams over at your sideline. Like, I don't know if he said fuck you, but boy, it sure looked like it was a fuck you at their side. And then you have to step up after that. Jim Caldwell said in the press conference afterwards, because Chicago was very windy and cold and miserable. I mean, so they set their line of demarcation every week, which is like, this is where we can kick from. We hope to get it to here. I'm assuming it was like the 32 or the 31 for like a 51 yarder because of how terrible the weather was. He said he looked over at Prater, and Prater looked at him and gave him a nod and said, yep, I'm going to fucking hit it. Like, yep, don't you worry about this one. And he was like, all right, go kick it. And he fucking drains it. Minute some left. You missed that. You're giving them the ball in the 42. That's a loss, basically. Yeah. You're fucked there. But then Connor Barth goes ahead and I think he almost kicked it out of bounds. That was not a good ball. I've missed some kicks in my college days, but boy, that was not a good kick. That was not good.
No, that was like a total like golf slice. Like it hadn't even crossed the line of scrimmage, and you said, "Oh, that's ball game." Like that has no shot. And then the flip side of that is a little while later, I'm watching the Patriots in Mexico City.
Amigo.
Oh man, I didn't know this. Geography is like my weakest Jeopardy category. I did not know that Mexico City is 2,000 feet higher than Denver.
You can hit a ball fucking 47,000 yards up there. Like if you hit a driver well, in that you're going to go 500 up there. The altitude in Denver is awesome. I couldn't even fathom that, but still to hit from 62, you still have to fucking hit it. Like you still have to hit it well. You have to hit it straight. And Gostkowski smashed that. The gringo from fucking New England steps in front of the amigos and amigas and drains a fucking 60-some yarder in a dong cock fest over the Oakland Raiders by the New England Patriots. They crushed them. That's the lock of the week, by the way, every fucking week. Whatever they're saying the Patriots are going to score the over-under, bet the over every single week. Go to mybookie.ag and bet the over for the Patriots offense because it doesn't matter how much they win by. It doesn't matter anything. You're just betting 100% that the guy that wears a pajama onesie and sells weird chocolate in an alien fashion is going to figure out their defense. That's all you're betting. It's the easiest bet in the history of sports, I think. Yeah, this is the over-under for this week. Do you think Tom Brady's going to figure out their defense and score 23 points? Yeah. Tom Brady's going to figure that the fuck out immediately. He almost got in the first half. It bumped up to 30 in 2 days. I took like a massive bet under. I'm like, yeah, here we go. It's going to do 23 and a half. It bumped up to 30 out of nowhere, and they still covered it. That's the easiest bet of the week, by the way, for me. Just for future.
AJ, I owe you an apology, AJ, because I was like losing my shit the first couple of weeks of the season about the Patriots, about their defense, about everything that's wrong with them. They can't protect Brady, and you were like, basically doing the A-Rod, RELAX thing to me. And goddamn it, they figured it out.
Yeah, look at because now we're into November. Now we're almost into December. Patriots, their defense is playing well. They gave up 8 points to the Raiders?
Yeah, it's garbage time points still.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Their defense is figuring it out, and their defense doesn't even have to figure it out. Their defense just needs to be average, and they are still the number one threat to win the Super Bowl. So it's ridiculous how good they really are when it matters. They understand. Like, they didn't freak out. I'm sure inside the walls they had some rough team meetings, they had some rough practices, but they don't care. They're not sitting there worried about it like Jerry is writing blogs feverishly, just worried about what's wrong with Patricia, what are we going to do? And then bam, they're starting to hit their stride, man. Yeah,
and I'm always amazed at NFL coaching staffs that can't adjust to things the way they do. Like, all right, I'll give you an example. Jason Garrett last week, they sent out the backup left tackle, and he gets annihilated by Adrian Claiborne. And what did they do? Nothing. They just left this guy out there to get annihilated by Adrian Claiborne. Like, after 2 sacks, 3 sacks, you don't adjust. You don't say, let's start chipping a guy, let's keep it back in or whatever. I equate that to Jack Del Rio today. Like, Brady has chunks of Jack Del Rio's defense in his stool, and they do nothing. Like, every time he faces this guy, he rips him apart. I looked up in 2007, they played them in the divisional playoff. Brady was 24 of 26 against them in that game. And today it was basically similar. Like, it was basically the same thing. I think they said that he completed like 90% of his passes against that. Like, at what point do you say, we've got to do something different than we've done to this guy in the past?
Hey, Jerry, just to pile on what you just said, and I'm not trying to pile on the tackle, but in the game tonight, Philly, as we're recording, just got a sack, cause fumble, return for a touchdown.
Okay.
Off the left side.
What's the score?
Oh, gosh. They're like 37 to something.
5.5. My super duper luck. I think I'm a good gambler, by the way. I think I'm a good gambler. I'm just saying it. I'm like 9 or 10 and 5 these last couple weeks. I just want to let it be known. That Philly team is fucking another
What was the
lock.
line? What was that line, Pat?
5.5. Philadelphia.
I think you're safe.
Philadelphia is an incredible. I've been listening to the mic'd up of their coach, Peterson. He's a cool fucking guy. Very much liked by his team. And his team likes each other. I think that team is something special. Yeah. I think they have something really special going on.
What about you guys' your early lock as the Kansas City Chiefs is the best team in the NFL?
Yikes.
What happened?
Wow.
Yikes. They lost. I lost. They lost.
Was this a trap game? They played, so they got beat by the Giants 12-9. Was this the old trap game that they fell?
Hey, what does that mean?
To?
Hey, AJ, I'm being serious when I ask this question. I never understood. I never understood the trap game thing because I was always just chasing stats. So if I had a bad game, it like it fucked everything. So I honestly looked at every single game as a Super Bowl. That's a true story. What is the trap game mean? What does that mean?
I guess a trap game would be if you're considered a good team, or let's say you came off a big victory the week before and you're playing a team with a bad record the next week. Like, oh, we're coming off such a high. Is the team going to have a hard time getting motivated to beat? I guess an example, would be if you go to the college game, Ohio State came back, beat Penn State in a huge, stunning victory a couple weeks back. They come out the next week against Iowa and got annihilated. Like, that's, I guess, kind of a trap game, even though Iowa's still pretty good. But like, you coming off a high and you're playing a team that shouldn't beat you, and they end up getting you.
Which is why I think this doesn't qualify as a trap game, because Kansas City's not coming off a high. Like, they've been in free fall for a few weeks
they're trying to get it back on track to where
Andy Reid hasn't Kool-Aid Man through the fucking wall in months. They were so hot early. They were my team. I was so proud of them. Tyreek Hill is just like the most explosive player to come into the NFL in a long time. Fucking Alex Smith was out there slinging and dinging like he was wearing onesies and selling chocolate like Tom Brady. He was having it. They were doing it. Kelsey was leaping over people, celebrating, and lose to the Giants.
Yeah, and you know what?
Nobody loses to the Giants.
And you know,
not this year.
This guys, you know who sent his guys through the wall like the Kool-Aid Man was Ben McAdoo. He had a great quote. Like, I love this. It's just so football coach cheesy that it might be the quote of the year from him. He says, "Calm doesn't suit me. A storm does."
Oh, wow.
I go,
that's so good. What was the question? What was the question that came out? Do you have any idea?
No, he just brought it. I think he just wedged it into a press conference and just say like, I'm gonna weather this. Like, this is what I want. I want to have 2 wins and be sucking ass and on the verge of losing my job and having Eli Manning throwing terrible picks. But you know what? It worked. I mean, like, big interception forced by Jason Pierre-Paul. A guy who I thought would be out of football because he can no longer draw a hand turkey. And that was a friggin' game changer. And then that catch by Rogers Lewis at the end was just insane. It was a fourth and 6. And Manning just chucks it up, has no business lobbing that ball up there. And Lewis, by the way, was in. That was a touchdown all day long. They said he was touched when he was down. No, he didn't have the ball when he was being touched. But regardless, that's a great win by a Giants team that has 0 to play for.
When did McAdoo think of that quote, AJ? Wednesday, Tuesday, maybe Thursday, maybe before like their last 6 losses. He's like, if we win, I want to say this. When do you think he thought of that? That's a good quote, bro.
I don't know, man. I would imagine you would hear that somewhere else in your life, or you came up with it and you're just waiting for the right moment.
Let me cook on this one before I get fired.
Think about his attitude going in. Obviously, the majority of coaches don't like speaking to the media, and would be double worse is when your team is playing bad. Oh, and you're in New York, the media capital of the world.
Why don't coaches enjoy speaking to the media, by the way?
Because they feel like it's like little dweebs asking them questions that they're not qualified to ask. That's how I believe a lot of coaches, like their attitudes. I think it's like anything.
What the fuck are you asking me for? You think that's okay to feel?
Like, you think you're qualified to ask me that question and tell me, like, it's a tough job what I have to do up here, and you guys take it for granted. I think that's how at least a lot of coaches, when you watch them from the outside, they feel like in those press conferences.
Oh, you can always tell a coach who loves it. Well, Rex Ryan loved it.
Yeah, Rex parlayed that into a gig with ESPN because he was so good in press conferences.
Yeah, who's a guy who was
ESPN's
notorious for
numbers are doing fantastic, by the way. I'm sure every hire over there is just a good one. Just for few. Boy, they really are electric on TV over there. Jesus, I saw them wearing costumes one day.
Hey, did you guys? Did we talk about it when they parodied the New York Jets dance on set?
It's electric, man. AJ, those are some of our old teammates over there, dude. I texted Hasselbeck. Yeah. I wanted him to come on my show. I asked Hasselbeck to come on my show. That was going to be a question. It was like, hey, man, are we all just all in on everything that we decide, or is there any conversations? Like, hey, are we all jumping up on the couch? You got Randy Moss, greatest wide receiver of all time, jumping up and down because the Jets defense did it? Come the fuck on, bro.
Yeah, and Charles Woodson, I mean, I give Charles credit for he's bringing high energy, but man, it was tough seeing that. I would love to see the producer when he brought that to that crew.
Straight face, too, when he pitched it. Straight face.
Have you seen this New York Jets dance that happened 8 days ago? Let's try to do it. It'll be really funny.
So what we're thinking is you all jump up and down. Listen, we understand Matt Hasselbeck. I understand you're like 40-plus years old. You're like super smart, very sophisticated, and funny. But what we think you could do here is just jump up and down with like Rex Ryan will be right here next to you, and then Randy Moss will be here in front of you, and then they'll just all be jumping up and down, and we'll do it for a full 90 seconds. The crowd will love it. The audience will absolutely love it. Matt Hasselbeck, I asked him to come on my show. ESPN denied him. Said he wasn't allowed on my show.
I mean, were you surprised, Pat?
Yeah, I was. Matt Hasselbeck and I went to a couple wars together. You know, we showered together.
That means nothing to ESPN. In case you didn't know, there's a little bit of a battle that's been going on between ESPN and Barstool, Pat.
I didn't know it was like that, though. I'm like, okay.
It's not a battle, but they don't. ESPN's really inclusive, too, on what I think a lot of times they let their talent do.
Hasselbeck's been on the show before.
I know he has. But in the climate that we're in right now with Barstool and ESPN and the way that it's going back and forth, do you really think that they're going to allow him to go on there?
I was trying to help them out. One of us is climbing a mountain. The other one's getting pushed off. I was trying to lend a rope and just like help them out a little bit.
Do you think that the ESPN believes that, though?
They have to. They got them jumping up and down like the New York Jets. They fucking
hilarious.
know.
It was so funny.
Yeah, exactly. Think about how unfair they're being to their own employees.
Oh.
Like, tell me what Hasselbeck would rather have chosen.
Oh my God.
To do, an hour with you, Barstool Heartland, or jump up and down and pretend to dance like a Charlie Brown Christmas or whatever.
Hasselbeck's like such a good teammate. He's probably all in and all that shit, but I think it's absurd. I can't have a conversation.
I think every one of them was like, oh man. And I feel for him, because if they would have brought that, like if I was in a production meeting and they brought that to us, I would just put my head down, like, oh no, please no, someone please speak up. I can't do this. And then if I was forced,
you
to
wouldn't speak up.
It depends on your tenure. Right? If it's like your first year there,
it don't fucking matter. You want me to do what? Cuz I'm out of here.
Well, no, what I would end up doing, it was like when I was in I think 7th grade in music class, we had to do this music video where we each like had to lip sing certain lyrics of a song, and for some reason I just was totally against it. I didn't like the song, and everyone has their own little piece and they do this dance thing, and they cut to me and I just stone faced the camera, and my teacher gave me an F on the project.
Oh, come on, AJ.
That's the most AJ Hawk story I've ever
I think I got a C in music class because of that.
All right, Pat, you know that idea that you and I talked about where we were going to all do a lip dub? Yeah, we're going to have to cancel that.
Hey, don't throw me in on that idea. No. Don't you throw me in on that idea, Jerry. No. That was no way. I'm not getting behind any lip dubs. Listen, the lip dub thing got fucking played out. My high school, and I'm saying this, my high school was actually one of the first lip dub schools. They went viral, one of the first ones to do it. They did it for the Pittsburgh Penguins. They did it for they do like a Make-A-Wish? What's the Make-A-Wish? They do like this telethon for Make-A-Wish. They went viral, okay? So then everybody started making these goddamn lip dubs videos. And I understand it's a lot of humans and it's a lot of choreography, but do less. Let's just do less of it. Just like the fucking Hog trailer where people are yelling at me for making fun of high schoolers. It wasn't directly the high schoolers. It was mostly that assistant coach we were making fun of. But somebody in that high school could have said, hey, we ain't doing this, dog. Just like AJ stone-faced that camera. Somebody could have done that with that fucking Hog trailer. I just want to say that. I just want to let that be known.
Is our flash mob idea completely kaput then?
Oh, I hated those too. Those fucking happened for a long time. Do you remember that? Roy Hibbert did one here in Indianapolis, and it was outrageous. It was like an avatar was in the middle of all these little Indiana people, and I just jumped on in it right in the middle of the mall. It was a good old time. Area 55 was rocking right there in the middle of the mall. A little flash mob dance off, cuz.
Hey, what was the most recent one that it was fine, but then it always gets played out so quickly because of the internet now? Mannequin challenge. That's right.
Oh, the mannequin challenge. Yep. It was fine for a little bit, and then it's like everybody tries to do it. The execs in the boardroom, and they're just awful, and they're shaking. You can't hold your coffee cup still for 3 seconds while the camera pans your direction.
Hey, there was some really cool mannequin.
So old.
There were some really cool ones though.
The first 6 months. After that, it gets sad. It's weird.
Right. The ice bucket challenge was a whole nother thing. That was great. That did amazing things. It didn't require tons of stupid creativity or whatever. That was viral video content at its best.
And
that was social media.
You could set your phone up and film it yourself. You can't set your phone up and film just yourself doing the mannequin challenge. It would be really awkward to watch.
You could.
It would be weird. It'd be really, and you just stand there and I just hold thumbs up and stare at the camera for a minute.
Well, that'd be your pose. Mine would be different. I'd probably stand.
What would your pose? You get the bildo and try to
maybe a bildo with a quad stretch. Maybe a quad stretch look like a pelican out there, flamingo on one leg. You know, and I would set like Miami Subs used to have. I would be a flamingo, and I would have tropical trees. What are those tropical trees?
Palm.
I'd have palm trees around me that are pink, and I would have.
Those are tough. Those are really tough to figure out. Palm trees, really exotic.
Well, they are, aren't they? And they're only in the warm places.
Really? I see how that one slipped your mind.
Are they in Arizona? Are palm trees in Arizona?
Anywhere that is above 48 degrees, they are.
Really? Could I get a palm tree? Would it just die? What happens in the winter?
I've tried to do it. They have these like supposedly hardy, colder weather palms.
Yeah, I need a fucking gritty ass palm. I need a gritty ass palm tree that can handle a little bit of a snowstorm.
You gotta try, but you gotta blanket that thing all winter and put some lights on it. Do some kind of heating situation when it freezes.
If we get you one, will you do like a flash mob lip dub thing for us all?
I'll do a mannequin
challenge.
Of me being a flamingo like Miami Subs. And I would get the Italian sandwich. That thing was really fucking good. Do you remember Miami Subs? Did you guys have a Miami Subs where you're from?
No.
I think it was a big drug front. Was it a big drug front? It was a chain place, yeah. It shut down real quick, though. Those are always the awesome ones. We had this other place called Smarty Artie's right down the street from it. All of a sudden, best wings in the world one day. Next day on the news, just the whole place getting wiped out. Gigantic cocaine ring back there. That's why the wings were so fucking good the whole time. I was just eating cocaine wings my entire childhood right there at Smarty Artie's. It's incredible.
No, so was it like Los Polos Hermanos from Breaking Bad?
Yeah, it was a lot like that.
Just the fast food place that's just a front for like smuggling drugs?
I don't know if they smuggled them or sold them. I don't know which part of the whole industry they were, but I do know Smarty Artie's got shut down immediately, and I've yet to have a wing since that could compare to it. It was next level, and I do believe they drugged it. I believe there's a chance.
Yeah. The secret ingredients in those wings are love and cocaine.
Which seems...
Makes everything better. I'm putting it on my turkey this year. It's going to be the most expensive goddamn turkey ever.
A little Colombian Bam Bam on the old turkey day. Like that. Respect.
Real quick before I get into the games, the worst thing that ESPN has ever had their employees do, worse than that Jets dance, whatever, a couple of years ago.
The Odell Beckham auction.
Oh, that was bad. Yeah.
What was that?
They held up, like
terrible.
They were doing like a fantasy auction thing where they held up like players, photos of their heads on sticks. And it just looked too much like they were auctioning off actual human beings.
It was bad.
Like it had all sorts of bad cultural connotations there.
$1, $5, Odell Beckham goes for $10.
How does that get through like the different steps that it has to go through?
Like no one said, you know what, hey guys, you know what this actually looks like?
It wasn't good.
This looks like episode 1 of Roots. Like maybe we ought to just not do this. But they had Tim Tebow's birthday. They had Herm Edwards, whom I respect, colorful guy, bright guy. They had him and I think Susie Colbert, whoever. They did a birthday party to Tim Tebow, like to the point where they had a cake and they had party hats, and they talked about what they were going to give Tim Tebow. Like they're making Herm Edwards like blow noisemakers and stuff.
I didn't know
in
this.
honor of Tim
Did
Tebow.
this really happen? Herm Edwards, the guy with the
I
high
couldn't make
socks
this up.
and the high pants every time he sits down, the guy who yells at everybody, the guy at my rookie symposium just chewed me out for not respecting people before I ever got into the NFL. That Herm Edwards, it was having a birthday party for Tim Tebow when he wasn't even there. Tim Tebow wasn't even there.
Exactly. And it was like, what would you give
Yikes.
Tim Tebow? And they took that viral picture of him like running shirtless. I would give him a T-shirt. I mean, it was so cringeworthy. I can't even describe how
What
bad
do
it
you
was.
get
Yes.
Tim Tebow though, now that we're on it? You definitely get him a stripper, right?
Yeah.
You think you would
Oh,
have?
a bong.
You send him one, Pat? You send him a strippergram? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, I think a good singer, an adult ballerina singer would be good.
Yeah, right. You know what he'd do? He'd take her in. He would set up a 50 or what is the 501c3? Or what's the college fund, Jerry?
MIFA?
Not a foundation.
Hey, it does seem as if fucking Tim Tebow is like the best human on earth, by the way. Like he really might be the best human on earth. I have no idea.
He would. You know, he would help the poor girl out.
Oh my
come
God.
on, you struggling?
Tell me your story. How did
Here,
we
let me
get to
buy you
this
another
point?
child seat for your baby. I see your baby's not strapped in properly.
Oh, does
Believe me,
this,
don't have a bad word to say about him, but ESPN was so fixated on. They must have had data that said whatever we talk about him, like, will generate ratings. So let's like wedge him into anything we can ever friggin' do. Like whatever content we have, spin it into Tim Tebow content.
You're exactly right, Jerry. You hit it right there. They know what it gets people tuning in. If like Tebow is in the rundown of when they put it up of topics to talk about, you know that people probably stick around, so they want to see him have birthday parties.
I do want to say though, like everybody used to say, oh, Tim Tebow gets chastised for praying, but you don't yell at blah, blah, blah. I don't remember Tebow ever getting chastised for praying. I was a guy who was very in tune to the Tebow talk because I was very interested by it because we went to the college football awards show at the same time. No big deal. Me, Tim Tebow, Colt McCoy. How's it going? We're just down there at the college football awards show. AQ Shipley. No big deal. I didn't win. Ray Guy, go fuck yourself. All that stuff. Yeah. It's all good. Tim Tebow had his own posse with him. He had like a group of 14 with him at all times. And we weren't allowed anybody in a lot of situations. Like I wasn't allowed to have anybody with me. And Tim Tebow had like an entire team around him. I'm like, this guy's fucking living. I met him 4 times in one weekend. That was awesome. That was a really cool situation. But I've been he was always nice every single time. Always nice every single time I met him. He was very nice, but boy, he's always been like a fucking Beatle. He's always been treated very much like a Beatle, like a rock star in sports. It was interesting to watch it. And I don't remember people ever bash. I feel like the world was pretty pro Tebow there for a very long time.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember incidents where people just stood on mass and booed him. Like, stop praying.
Yeah, I don't think that ever.
Pointing at Jesus.
I don't think that happened. I don't think that happened. What city would that definitely happen in? Probably
Philly.
Yeah, shouldn't pray there sometimes.
They don't care about praying, but they would. You know, didn't they throw snowballs at Santa? Isn't that what they're famous for, Jerry?
Oh God, yeah.
I was friends with them for a while.
Nothing that.
Hey Pat, at those award shows, did you go to? Was it in Orlando when you went?
Yeah. Got 2 bunny passes, or hopper passes, but it fucking stormed all day like a hurricane. So I ain't never been to Disney World in my life. Thanks for bringing it up.
Oh, you went to who went to the park? No, I was just gonna. I imagine you went out and got pretty drunk while you were there.
Hammer drunk. That's where I met your boy Herb Street.
Yeah, he always hosted them. He was there when I went as well.
Yeah, I was. I walked into a bar pretty late night. Me and AQ Shipley. And I saw the handsome son of a bitch over in the corner, and it was like a little ESPN gathering, I guess. And me and AQ just walked straight into the middle of it and had a good time. And then I haven't seen or talked to Herbie since until he showed up in my Twitter timeline like 2 weeks ago. And I'm like, oh, Herbie, he probably remembers me from that night. I was on fire that night. I was.
Yeah, he loves you. I saw him on Twitter. He talked to you. But when I was going to those things, man, it was so I am in the same class as like Liner and Reggie Bush. And both of them were there. I think couple years in a row. They both won the Heisman back to back, each of them, and it was like a bunch of Brad Pitts walking around. Like it was crazy.
Yeah, was there actual Brad Pitt there because the USC kids?
No, but are you taking a leak right now?
Huh?
What are you doing? Fibs, make sure you cut this up. Put this out. Get a
Yeah,
quick
this
vid.
is
vid.
such viral content.
Pat, stand up quick. Stand up and talk to you.
Nah, I dropped
What are you
something.
peeing in? You're peeing in a trash can, I bet.
Nah, it's a water bottle.
If you ever would just accept my hospital pee bottles, you'd be fine.
I've been accepting those for weeks. I ain't never seen it.
Wait, what kind of water bottle? One of those Fiji bottles with a tiny top? Like with the not the wide mouth? What are you just straight trying to aim you're just splattering all over. He's definitely splattering all over that nice carpet in there. Oh, it's terrible.
AJ, I don't know how to tell you
I'm
this.
just impressed that he can produce.
AJ, I don't know how to tell you this, AJ. I don't know how to tell you this, AJ. I've been in a car like my whole childhood traveling to soccer tournaments, and my bladder is what we like to call an active one. So my aim had to get real good, real quick, real fast. If you just give me, I can go in a can if I had to, bud. My bladder just pushes me into an abysmal pain.
You know what you need to do, Pat? This is what I learned from a young age because I am with you, and I grew up going to all these AAU basketball tournaments. You get out. Well, now I do it when I'm driving by myself in the car. Even if I'm 3 minutes from the house, I have emergency situations where I'm going to take a leak in my pants. You get out, you pull on the side of the road, put your blinkers on, and then you go around the side in the grass because you don't want to get run over by a semi, and you pop one of your windshield wipers up like you're working on it, and then you can just hang out with the door open, take a leak on the side of the road, pop that wiper, put the wiper back down in your car, you're home in a couple minutes.
Not like running into the woods, though. Like standing on the shoulder of the road.
That's a
You run
far
into the woods.
walk.
First off, you better watch it because you know that's where they troll for pedophiles. troll
Yeah,
the
they'll
woods.
fuck you in there.
Yeah, so you
Yeah,
know
they'll
in the woods
fuck
because
you in that woods, Jerry.
that looks very suspicious. So if you pop your wiper up, actually, I usually don't turn my blinkers on because if the odd chance a cop was driving by, he would maybe pull over to make sure you're okay and catch you mid-leak. So I usually just pop a wiper up so no one suspects anything. Bam. I learned that from one of my,
So
my
what do
old
you?
basketball
Hold on.
coaches.
Let's go back. You're in the passenger seat with the door open.
No, I'm driving, so I've done this with my kids in the car as well. They usually
Dad of the
go
year.
up and
Every
pop
week you become more and more dad of the year. It's fucking outrageous.
But so I walk around, so I pull off the side of the highway, and then because I can't get to a gas station, or I don't want to waste the time.
Got it.
I walk around the front of the car, make sure I'm safe. I pop open the shotgun door, and I also pop open the back door. I stand in the middle of it, pop that right side wiper up in the air, take a leak next to the car. Act like I kind of even you hold it one handed, then you kind of touch the wiper like you're messing like, oh man, this whole thing won't clean the windows anymore, even though it's never raining when I'm doing this. And then I get done, boom, pop it down in the car.
Key question:
Yep.
Are the kids do the kids have visual on the Little Hawk?
No, they can't see my meat. Never. That's why I have both doors.
Right.
But they, usually if I stop, trust me, they all go, I gotta go too. And my son, nothing's cooler than to stay in the grass and leak. He'd be like, Dad, put the wiper up. All right, I got you, man. No worries, we got it.
Dad of
Look,
the
I'm a
year
big-
every week.
I'm a big believer, and I told my sons this: the world is my urinal. But I can't produce
my
like
sons
in
this.
public. You know what I mean? I don't think I could stand there producing by the side of the road unless it
How?
was like.
What's so hard about it? Just fucking pee. What are you talking about?
Fenway Park used to have these basically bathtubs was what the urinals were. They were like horse troughs.
The
Yeah,
people
they
that go
have-
through them, by the way, are just
Yeah.
There ain't the humans that take the amount of money, whatever it is, to slide through those fucking things. Those humans, I think they're the same people that you want to employ because they're willing to do whatever. But boy, what a fucking life they live. Like, think about their day to day. If they're willing to do that on a random Sunday in like Cleveland Browns Stadium, think about what they do Monday through Friday. I couldn't even fucking fathom those humans the way they live their life. Jesus Christ.
I'm with
Sorry,
you
sorry
because
to
look,
interrupt.
I couldn't even. We
Fucking
had
hey.
a term we called Fenway Park syndrome, which is where you get that stage fright because you're standing there and you're not producing because then you start getting in your own headspace. Like, wait, I'm standing here at a horse trough next to a guy who probably thinks I'm just airing it out, and he's wondering why I'm not going. So now I totally can't go. And like, you would go in there sometimes having to go really, really bad and walk out without having gone. It's happened to seriously. It happened to a buddy of mine one time. He goes, I got in my own head. I couldn't produce. I've got to go really bad, but I couldn't.
I don't understand that though. I really don't get it. How's that? How though?
You saw the 40-year-old virgin.
I've been one-on-one with a guy in a hotel lobby before, just me and him. My shirt hung over the top of the stall, over the wall, so that if anybody walks into the bathroom in the hotel lobby, they know something's going down when there's 4 feet underneath the door. 4 feet, all dudes, one shirt over the door. Then a guy hands me this little plastic cup, tells me to put my drawers down around my ankles. I said, you got it, bub. Put it down there. And then I just peed right in front of that guy. And it was at that moment I thought, like, how do people ever get pee fright? It's just me and this guy right now. He's staring directly at my penis while it's producing this cup of urine for this guy to test in Charlotte, North Carolina. I just let it go. It feels so much better when it's out. It's like, do you not hawk a loogie? Like, isn't spitting, like when you spit, like if it's out of you, you're going to feel better. Can you not shit in public places either? You can't shit in public places, can you? Home stadiums only? Home stadium only?
No, I can because they have stalls and locks on the door and there's not a guy standing there watching me.
How about you just take a leak in the stall next time?
Yeah, that's not a bad move. I do that a lot here in Indianapolis. Somebody took a picture of me taking a pee one time next to him at a urinal and tweeted it to me and said, hey, man, I'm sorry I didn't get to say what's up. And it freaked me out. So that really is the only time I've ever, I guess, got freaked out because I thought my dick was going to end up on the internet. You never want your dick on the internet, Jerry. Brett Favre taught us that.
No. Yeah. And you also don't want to have the job where you have to stand in a stall with another guy and stare at his junk while he pees. Like what kind of a career choice was that by this NFL guy?
Aggressive.
Like
I think they make good money, Jerry.
They would have to.
Well, they're usually a lot of the guys are like EMTs or firefighters. They have other gigs as well, but a couple days a week they get extra cash for doing it. So I don't know. It's a rough gig. I've had the exact same situation as Pat. Got in New York at the Super Bowl inside a super crowded hotel. And 2 dudes just in a stall, and he's just staring right at you.
Directly at your
idea.
penis.
I have to I was wearing a suit because I was there doing media stuff. I have to take off the whole suit shirt, pants
so
to the ankles. It's really weird because people have no idea what's going on in there.
Bro, you do media at the Super Bowl? You do media at the Super Bowl?
This was like 4 or 5 years ago. I went around and did stuff.
Wow.
Like, what went on with that guy's guidance counselor? You know, you take that standardized test that they tell you what you'd be good at. Oh, you might want to get into the field of medicine. You seem like you're predisposed to helping other people. You'd be perfect for staring at guys while they pee into a cup.
Hey, man, people got to pay the bills, Jerry.
A specimen.
Yeah, it's honest work.
Hey, specimen collection pays the bills, Jerry. Remember that. Specimen collection pays the bills, and the bills can be large.
It could be a lot worse, Jerry. I watched one of my buddies in college. They had to test him, and he said, hey, man, I got to take a dump. And the guy's like, here, just go pee real quick. He said, I'm sorry, man. I got to go now. And so the dude stood there with the open store door. My buddy was just killing it on a dump and held the pee bottle there as he's dumping, like apologizing to the guy.
I wish that would happen. Yeah. I love that so much. I love
Can you
that
imagine?
so much.
Yeah, no, at that point, you just go, you passed. You passed. You're clean. Goodbye. Thank you. I'm out of here.
I've farted a couple times while peeing in front of one of them guys and felt real weird. I couldn't even fathom taking a full shit. Dude.
I can't.
Pat, you had to feel so awkward. Just no filter, just bare cakes, just farting on the dude. Like, it's just you and him, too. What do you say? It's not like I'm in there and I'm like, oh, good one. It's like, you can't even joke about it.
Did you do pull my finger?
I remember dying laughing. This guy got to know me. He's tested me at least like 140 times in my career because I was getting tested 9 times a month there for 27 months. And I remember it was like a real moment for us. He started out like whenever we first started, we wouldn't even talk. And then he like started turning on water for me if I wasn't being quick enough.
Yeah, they all do that.
Yeah, and then one day I told him I didn't need the water. I had to pee and it was quiet. And I just farted. And he said, I wish I turned on the water. I just started crying, laughing. I was still peeing into the thing, like crying, laughing. I couldn't fucking contain it. That was a real moment for us, he and I. That guy'd seen
Was he laughing?
Oh, yeah. It was a real moment.
Good. If he was not laughing, he was just looking at you as you were farting and peeing all over
dude,
and laughing. That would have been my favorite.
That is just... Look, there are just walls that should exist between men. And you tear them all down in that moment. Like, How many times have you been in a stall and the guy in the next stall starts a conversation with you?
Love it.
Like
We're in this
old,
together. I
Old
love it.
Irishmen, when I worked for the state, used to do this. It's like, stop. Just look. Can we just pretend that we're not here, that we don't know who one another are, that we just leave without a conversation? Instead, you'd be squeezing out a monkey tail and it'd be like, so how's it going? How you doing over there? Like, just stop. For the love of God.
I love that it was a real moment for you guys, Pat. It's like when Denzel took the team off the camp in the remote area and they all bond over these tough issues. Like, we're just fighting through all this adversity. And you and old boy just bond over your naked fart directly like 2.5 feet away from his face while you're peeing.
Does he still stay in touch?
Oh, yeah. He had to test me at least another 40 times after that. There was no running away from that moment. It was going to happen regardless.
You know how happy he was when you announced your retirement?
Dude, I think you should be on each other's Christmas card list at the very least.
I think that guy misses me. I do. I believe he misses me. I was always a good time in there, man. I was always a good time in there.
Sounds amazing. I would love to test you. Sounds like a great time.
You think he sits around with the other sample collectors and they just share war stories?
Dude,
like,
I've been around too.
I'll never forget the smell of Pat McAfee's brand.
I've been around too. I've been tested in damn near every fucking city because they were after me when I was in that substance abuse program. I bet you they tell war stories about me whenever they have their specimen collectors committee meeting at once a year.
What? They're sitting around at the bar. Someone goes, "You know who the worst ever was?" All at the same time, they go, "McAfee." Yep, McAfee.
Yeah, that's when they have their owners, their rules change, their rule committee meeting. They're like, because they do make sure you stay. The guy stays staring at you and your dong the whole time to make sure you don't get a Whiznator or anything. And that's like one question that dude probably brought up. Like, let's say the dude lets out a fart that may or may not smell. Can I just step out for a quick moment?
Oh,
no.
Dude.
Absolutely not.
Oh man, I think I was a good patient.
Jerry, then the head guy chimes in. He goes, "Hey, you guys are good."
I was peeing. Hold on, I peed with one guy who was in to replace my guy. Okay, so my guy needed a break. He was pissing too many dicks. Okay, he was leaking too many teats. He was too busy, so they brought in another guy, and this guy. He might have been to the specimen collection committee meeting because he was very nervous. Like he was testing me and I could tell he was very nervous. Like everything he said, he was questioning himself. There's a proper procedure. You get this before this, you get this before this. And I know that this guy has been told like, hey, McAfee is a vet. He has been tested 250 plus times. This guy is going to know the ins and outs of this whole thing. Don't even worry about it. He was real nervous. Okay. He told me to open the bag before I could open the bag. I wasn't in the bathroom yet. I was like, I don't think I can open this cup yet, bub. I don't think I can. I was almost like putting him on, like, it was like fucking Hard Knocks for me. It was like let me teach this guy the real thing here. So I opened it up for him. I do the whole thing and I'm peeing. I get an adequate amount into the cup and then I finish in the toilet. Piss on the side of the toilet so it runs down into the water so we can have a conversation, without being interrupted by the splashing. Yep. Always pee on the side so it's quiet. I thought the guy should have said thanks about that. He didn't even mention it. Okay, amateur pee tester collector, amateur. He doesn't even know how respectful that move was that I just made. I didn't make him listen to the dribble of my penis urine dripping into the toilet. So then we go out to the front and he got to test it for like its pH level, right? They take like a drip out of it and then he put it into a little thing and then he test your pH. Okay, here we go. And then they pour it into 2 little cups. Okay, so the large cup goes into the 2 little cups. Old buddy goes to pick up the cup, and he's so nervous, he's shaking. He spills the cup, spills the urine all over the table and all over me, okay? Right? I'm sitting right across all over the paper and everything. And he's like, oh, you're going to have to refill a cup. And I'm like, oh, fuck me. So I go over, bong a couple Pedialytes real quick, take them straight to the dome, force my bladder to piss this thing out so I can go home because this was after a practice day. And the guy goes to pour it into the cups, and I held his forearms steady while he dumped my urine into the 2 small cups. Yeah. Guy never came back after that. Never, ever came back because he had to write in there that the first batch or whatever sample was spilled all over the table and all over Pat. And this is the second batch collected, blah, blah, blah. That guy got fired immediately. The refs can fuck up all they want. The refs can fuck up all they want. But these specimen collectors, You fuck up one time, you're out. See you later. Gonzo.
Oh, that's where your agent gets on the phone.
Mm-hmm.
I want professionals handling Pat's pee. It's not goddamn amateur hour, okay? I want the best. I want the best of the best.
Listen.
Pat's pee is clean.
So there's a whole process where, like, you number it, and there's a number that matches a number that you have to okay, and this number matches this number. And is this cup empty before you pee in it? Is it empty? Yeah, then you got to check it and all this shit. And if the numbers are off, you can get fucked over by the tester. Like, there was times where people were worried that the testers were failing people. Like, they were putting shit into cups and stuff. Like, there's like a bunch of conspiracy theories out there. Obviously, every guy says they're clean. But there is definitely ways that if the specimen collector wanted to fuck you, they could fuck you, for sure.
Hey, Pat, a quick question on that before, Jerry, we can jump to a game. So you grabbed his forearm to steady him, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Let's say you came in, hypothetically, say this could have happened for you.
Yeah.
You come in, you shuffle in, hungover, naturally.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You're trying to leak. You're trying to hold it, and you're shaking a bit, and you can't figure it out.
Yeah.
Did he ever grab your shaft just to steady you so you could aim into the cup?
Okay. Nah. Nope. Because, listen, my whole body can shake.
I would not. I promise I wouldn't judge.
Listen, you know, like what's that bed that you can jump on one side and the other side doesn't shake?
Tempur-Pedic.
My balls serve as like a Tempur-Pedic. My body can shake, but the balls are the Tempur-Pedic padding. The dick has no idea what's going on. Okay? It just steadies the rock. You know what I mean?
It's not that. It's your hands, though. Your hands are shaking. You're hungover.
I always go no hands, so I don't feel bad if I don't wash my hands on the way out, you know? So that's
you just hold the cup, just two-hand hold the cup.
Yeah. 2 hands with the cup like I'm holding a big old mug, like a big old mug of beer. That's my life, AJ. It's my life.
I like when Pat gets serious and dials it back and gets serious tone with me. You know there's some truth to whatever's coming next.
Probably not.
All right.
I
thought I was the only guy who can go no hands. I just thought it's a size issue, clearly, and every guy in the world seems like they need 2 on there.
No, listen, I got to really spread my legs, though, because my thighs touch. So it's like the flag in Japan. What was that flag that they raised in Japan?
Iwo Jima?
Yeah, the flag at Iwo Jima. So that's like
Mount Suribachi?
Yeah. So I got to spread the thighs so that we can sit. I can't wear sweatpants because it appears as if. So I got to give room for the swing. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? It's the only way I go down no hands.
Yeah. I'd say I'm the opposite.
AJ,
There's
does that make
sense?
sense?
No swing.
Nah, you lost me.
My thighs touch.
Yeah, so do I. I mean, yeah, you're a human. Don't everybody's?
Not as much as mine, I don't think. I'm a wall across there. I got the lower body of a horse, upper body of an adolescent. Come on.
You're a centaur.
What is that?
Half horse, half man.
Is that in the Bible? Tell me that's in the Bible. Is that on Easter or Christmas Day? Which one? We'll talk about that.
No, it's Greek mythology. That's
Want to
the
name
guy. The stomach up is a man, but the body's a horse. The opposite is a minotaur, where a man's legs, but then like his upper body is a bull.
I want to name
Pat,
my
I'm
kid
surprised.
Midas. What's up, bud?
I'm surprised you don't have a painting of you as a centaur. That's like a thing some people have.
Alex Rodriguez has one.
I'm pretty
Does he
sure
really?
if A-Rod Corp is doing it, I think it's something we should all probably look into. And I just learned of this animal, and I'm probably going to make that happen as soon as possible. What you just mentioned there, the little painting thing. Did you see that fucking guy's painting went for $450 million? What's that guy's name? That fucking Italian? Da Vinci. Did you see that?
Is that Da Vinci, that one? Was it Da Vinci?
No shit.
$450 million. Maybe that centaur. Maybe I'll get Da Vinci to paint that centaur. What's that?
Tell me this isn't one of those things where like someone found this thing at like a yard sale or something, right? Because some guy
10,000
like
or
the other
something
day bought something at a flea market. It was a picture of these old cowboy guys, and turns out one of them is Billy the Kid, and the other one in the picture is Pat Garrett, who killed Billy the Kid. Now, I know nothing about these guys, but I took a deep dive into finding out all about them because someone bought this thing for $10 at a flea market, and now it's probably worth millions.
That's unbelievable.
I know. I'm clearly not wasting enough of my time buying other people's trash because the world has $400 million goddamn Da Vinci paintings that, to me, I wouldn't spend $2 on.
If you could find a picture of Aaron Burr and Alexander Hamilton, you'd probably make $1 billion off of that. All right, football.
All right. I'm going to ham-handedly try to just bring it back to something to do with football. And I'm going to go with the low-hanging fruit of Pat's gambling. Pat, did you see the end of the Tampa game? And how much did you have on that one?
No, I didn't.
Tampa had one. I don't even know what the line was, but they had what is probably one of the worst backdoor covers in the history of the world. The end of the Miami game, right? Miami tries that kickoff. I don't know whatever happened to just taking your chance on trying to run a kickoff back. Why everybody now has to do the Stanford cow play, which is always worse than just trying to run it forward. But anyway, Miami runs it all the way backwards into their own end zone. Tampa falls on it, which not only turned it from a 3-point game into a 9-point game, but went from a 43-point over-under to 50. Like, that's why you need to gamble responsibly, because shit like that will happen.
Deshaun fucking Kaiser with 1:20 left gets stripped on his own 5, and then a touchdown happens for the Jaguars, blowing the Browns cover, which is all day. That was an easy cover. The whole game, close, terrible, close, terrible, close, windy, terrible, windy, close. Wham! Strip sack with 1:10 left. You're fucked. It's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. I hate that type of shit. Football was wild today. The 4 o'clock games were absolute blowouts. The 1 o'clock games were insane because there's a lot of wild weather. I mean, it was a wild day in the NFL.
Yeah, I wanted them to delay the 4 o'clock games just because there were like so many early games that would just came down to the wire. The New Orleans game was freaking insane. Alvin Kamara, like, triple catches a ball.
Oh, that was awesome.
And then, right, while he's juggling the thing, it was like a magic trick. Like, he ran into the end zone while still juggling the thing and avoiding tacklers. And freaking Drew Brees, with freaking time on the clock and the ball in his hands, just continues to do magical shit to the point where that's like their 8th win in a row. When 2 weeks into the season, they looked atrocious.
Are the Saints for real? You guys think they're 8-2 now?
8 in a row. It's hard to pass up. Although, you know what, Marshawn Lattimore, and I didn't see it, and I thank God for this. Apparently, he messed up his ankle bad. I guess it was one of those real ugly ones, like Gordon Hayward from the Celtics. I don't know. I hope not, because I told you guys last week, I thought he was in the conversation for the best corner in football, and if you're a pro football focus guy, if you're one of those analytics guys, they have him as the number 1 cornerback in football. And if he goes down, I think that's a game changer for the Saints.
I think Drew Brees is one of those guys, whenever he gets hot and gets rolling, he's tough to stop. I mean, that game today was very ugly and all that shit. But Drew, like, balled out. I think when it matters, I think Drew Brees will play well. And I think that's big for the end of the season. You always see, like, the great quarterbacks kind of rise to the top here. Ben Roethlisberger's about to get hot. I mean, it's just the way it goes. The cream rises to the top whenever you get later into the season. And that's what Drew Brees. I think the Saints are good. I think they're a good football team. But goddamn, the Eagles, I don't know how anybody touches them in the NFC. I have no idea.
Well, the Saints are a team too, and I know from going there from experience, they're tough to beat in the Dome. They were at home. I know they need to find a way to get some home playoff games. That would be huge for them. I feel like they're much better indoors than they are outdoors in the elements that you'll face come playoff time. So they're definitely one of those teams that need these wins to I don't know who they got to surpass. The Eagles, I guess.
That's going to be tough.
Yeah. And you know what? I would have added the Rams to that, and they're still part of that discussion.
I mean, they've scored 700 fucking points. You can bet the Rams over that they're going to score more than 20. I think it was 21. I think it was 21 and a half. They came in the last 3 weeks scoring 7,000 points, and they do nothing today out of nowhere. That team's good, though. I think McVay's legit. McVay is legit. But, boy, I don't know about today. That was tough.
Yeah, they got a loss earlier in the season to the Redskins that they still have to explain, and then this one today. There's just no excuse. And I think Case Keenum is legit. I think like that's a conversation. I don't think you switch back from him when everybody's healthy. I think you stick with the hot hand, but no excuse for putting up 7 against that team when you're as good as you've been. And their point differential has been like off the charts. Like I think they had 30 more than Philly, and Philly was number 2 in the league. So I think we're at the point where Philly's just lapping the field in the NFC.
They're so good.
Yeah, you're probably right. But honestly, the Vikings defense has been good all year, and they showed it against the Rams, and that's just I don't know. They have a good Case Keenum looks to be pretty legit, and I know Mike Zimmer's he kind of made the comment like he wants to stick with the hot hand. Why trade out Case Keenum? So when their defense is playing that well and he's taking care of the ball,
walk away from a heater.
Yes,
it's a hangover. It's a great quote. You never walk away from.
That's from The Hangover.
Yeah, man. Whenever he's talking, she's wondering where they're at, and the dad goes, "You never walk away from a heater." You know what I'm saying?
I gotcha.
Case Keenum's the heater. Teddy Bridgewater, though, was supposed to be a fucking whole world changer a couple months ago or a couple years ago. He was the guy, right? And Sam Bradford, what's he doing? What's Sam Bradford doing? Is Sam Bradford alive? Does anybody know?
He's hurt. He's not on IR though, is he?
He's on IR, I guess. The back room just said he's on IR.
Oh, okay.
That's incredible.
Teddy's kind of back. I guess they could technically go to Teddy, but it doesn't really make sense right now.
I had something I wanted to go to, and I completely lost it. Jesus Christ. Okay. It was a good one, too. It was good. It's gone. Forever.
It's gone. Gone forever. Well, the Vikings are 8-2 as well. They're running away with the NFC North.
Vikings. Yeah. Oh, the fucking... Who scored 0 today?
Green Bay.
Fucking Packers. Yes, the Packers. Yep. Scored 0. Aaron Rodgers should be the MVP.
Yeah. Although, you know what? Baltimore, that's their 3rd shutout of the year.
Their defense
and no one's had
legit.
3 shutouts in a season since 2003, and we're barely past halfway. Here's my thing with Baltimore. I tend to not respect them this time of year, but they sneak into the playoffs, and they just become a different team. Like they'll miss it for 3-4 years in a row, but then they get in there and just some weird shit happens. When they won the Super Bowl a few years ago, when they beat San Fran, that wasn't not a special team in any respect. They were middle of the pack on offense. They were middle of the pack on defense. I think they lost 4 out of 5 down the stretch. And all this, they get in there and they just take care of the ball. And some weird, just kind of institutional thing with that team, some mindset kicks in. So they're a sleeper. Clearly right now it's Pittsburgh and the Patriots in the AFC, right? I'm not saying anything too off the wall.
Yeah, no question.
I
Who
think
knows?
the Steelers are about to get absolutely hot. But Joe Flacco becomes an elite quarterback whenever he starts dancing in the playoffs. That long ball in Denver where he got over the back of the guy and scored an old tutter with, who was the guy that caught it, the return man? He went on Dancing with the Stars, Jacoby had that run. I mean, that was awesome for Flacco. And I enjoy that team mostly because their special teams is incredible as well. Justin Tucker's the best kicker in the game. And Sam Cook had a perfect punt today. What every punter walks out on the field hoping to do, 1 inch from the fucking end zone. A perfect punt that stopped all by its goddamn self. Taken back by Jeff Triplett, who was practicing positionism and went after a punter who did something perfect for the fucking brand and ripped the soul out of us. But Sam Cook bounced back, dropped 2 more inside the 10. No big deal. Baltimore Ravens get a big win. Aaron Rodgers deserves MVP. That team is not good without him.
I'm sorry, what did Jeff Triplett do?
I think he was him, wasn't it? It was Jeff Triplett, right? Yeah, Jeff Triplett. They challenged it. The Baltimore Ravens so it was a perfect punt.
Right, yeah.
Literally a perfect punt. What you're supposed to do with a football when you punt it. Well, you got to get lucky for it to happen, but it definitely happened. And there was ruled a touchback because the one guy said that the one guy touched it while he was in the end zone or that it broke the plane of the end zone. Then Harbaugh reviews it because a ball at the half-yard line and a ball at the 20 is very different whenever it comes to playing offense and defense. I mean, it's a huge ordeal. They review it. Every angle showcases that nobody from the Ravens touched it. The ball never broke the plane. And Jeff Triplett just decides to not overturn the call. Harbaugh screams that it's bullshit, and I agreed everything with him. The guy got robbed. Sam Cook got robbed today. Spelled cock, but Sam Cook got robbed today.
And you know who suffers? America suffers.
The brand.
Because America's longing to see great punters.
The brand.
I want to see perfect punts, right? I want to see someone forced to put on a 99.99 yard drive.
Amen.
So do something about that, Trump. Get off your ass and stop Jeff Triplett and his unholy reign of terror on everybody.
Hey, Pat, how good is Justin Tucker? And his confidence level seems to be?
It should be.
Legit. He's untouchable, it seems like.
It should be. Him and the Boswell kid for the Steelers has a nice stroke, too. Like, you can tell. That's why I like Nuge's stroke. Nuge hits the ball clean. It's like a good stroke, but sometimes he hits it a little fat. It seems as if Tucker never, ever misses. He just always hits the ball well, and he knows it, too. Like, there's never a moment of doubt in his mind, which is great for a golfer, pitcher, punter, kicker, anything like that. And he's so fucking good. It's unbelievable. He's incredible. The dude is an incredible ball kicker. It's outrageous.
It's like it reminds me of your Chris Ballard interview when you can close your eyes and you can hear the ball boom.
Did you listen to that?
Bam. Yeah, little just wanted to slide in and let you know. It was good stuff. You did good work, man.
I appreciate that. I called him a pussy in the middle of it.
I know. It was good. It was a perfect it's pretty awesome to have a sitting GM of the team in and then do a legit sit down interview with them. But you were still, you were still Pat, but you asked really good questions, so it was great.
I appreciate that. Means a lot. I was very nervous going into that because you don't.
I would have been.
I was
face to face. Yeah.
I was nervous because I didn't want to get him in any trouble with any of my questions, and I didn't want to make him regret coming into the interview. But I also thought like people deserve some answers, so I wanted to ask some real questions. So it was
he seems like a great dude.
He was fucking awesome, man. He came in here and shook like everybody's hand and was like so nice to everybody. He sat down, spent 30 minutes with me, like a full conversation. He was really nice and down to earth, and I feel like he answered every fucking question.
But he was forthcoming. You didn't think he was like dancing or?
There was only one answer where I thought he was dancing a little bit. And it was about the Vontae Davis cut, but nothing happened. I have not heard what actually happened with it, so he might have been right. Like whenever he answered it, I was like, oh, that sounds like. But it was at the end, and I didn't want to just bury it at the end. I didn't want to follow up with that sounds like bullshit. But then now, there hasn't been any other answer that has come out. So he might. I'm happy I didn't say that because he's probably telling the truth. I felt like my radar was off on that one. I thought.
Well, fellas, we're going to wrap this up in a bit. I want to end kind of where we began, which is, and we haven't done the game ball participation thing in a while, but I want to give a game ball to the NFL for one of the greatest inventions of recent time, and that is the late Thanksgiving Day game. That thing it's a gift from God because it's exactly what you need at night at Thanksgiving when you just maybe you passed out on the couch with that tryptophan coma, you're waking up, you're having leftovers, you're grabbing a sandwich or whatever, and what did they do? They gave us more football. It's like having a third testicle. It's as good as having two was. Mm-hmm. They just made it 50% better. Mm-hmm. I'm critical of Roger Goodell. He's done a lot of things wrong. That thing is
I wish I had two more hands so I can give them titties 4 thumbs down.
Yeah, it's like the lady in Total Recall with the 3 boobs. Like 2 were great, but now we've got that, and I'm psyched. I friggin' love this. I can't believe this breaks my brain that in Ohio and Indiana you don't have schoolboy football, like legit games.
Let's not pronounce it like that. That sounds weird. That was a very Indiana Fogelish statement.
What, schoolboy?
Yeah.
It's like how they put it in the paper. That's how they refer to it, like in the headlines and crap.
Schoolboy, it's high school. You don't call high school kids schoolboys.
It's like the term for it. It's like midgets or peewees or whatever.
You're wrong on all fronts there.
Okay. I'm just going by what they call it in the newspapers, which
Okay,
At
so
least
when
they
the
did
little
last
boys,
time I actually held a newspaper in my hand, which is probably 10 years ago.
Jerry, when the little boys from your town play the little boys from the other town, like how do you guys all watch it? Like, is it like, do you wear blankets or do you stand? What is it when you watch the little boys from your town battle against the little boys from the other town?
It's a whole Kevin Spacey thing.
Oh, yikes.
Yeah. No. Good Lord. All right, edit that out, Phipps. No.
Which one, the Kevin Spacey or the little boy?
Which one?
But no, legit. I'm psyched. I hope you guys have a great holiday. I'm extra strength pumped because I don't have to go anywhere. Having a small group of people over. Don't have to travel. Don't have to dress up. Years where we had to travel, us and friends would get together on Friday and actually pretend it was real Thanksgiving to do like a reboot on it, to the point where I'd DVR like the Lions and Cowboys games and just show them so that we could have that Thanksgiving experience instead of being with like boring relatives or whatever. Called it Fakesgiving. I don't have to do that this year. It's just going to be pure fun. And if you're one of those people that ruins the greatest holiday in the world by going shopping, you're everything that's wrong with everything.
That's on Friday, right?
People go at midnight, but now they're starting to go at like 8 o'clock at night on Thanksgiving. Like you're a monster if you do that.
Well, that's the weirdest thing ever when people they line up and they like sprint and they trample each other going into Walmart when it's 2017. All of those sales are online as well.
Cyber
Everyone has
Monday.
their Black Friday sales.
Come on, Cyber Monday, Barstool Sports. Get the app. We got a bunch of sales going on. T-shirts, ugly sweaters, ball caps, great things. Everything's on sale. Everything must go. Cyber Monday at Barstool Sports. We're burying a guy alive. We're burying a human. We are burying a human live on Cyber Monday.
Who?
Spider Monkey Nate.
Okay, good. Good luck, Nate.
He's taking one for the team. By God, he's an American hero.
I'm going to be out there for that. I'm going to be in New York for that. So if something terrible goes wrong, I guess I'm directly associated. Good.
When are you going to? Are you spending Thanksgiving in Indy or Pittsburgh? What are you doing?
Indianapolis. My whole family lives here now. My whole family.
Oh, really? Your
lives-
parents?
My family, yeah. I gave my dad a business out here in Indianapolis like a year ago. My brother works for him. My mom works for him. I bought a house for my mom out here. My
What
dad.
business? What's the business?
They wood finishing. They sell it and also finish wood.
Wow, good for them. So your dad doesn't have to get the dry ice to pack the frozen hot dogs to make the drive. He just brings them over.
Yeah. We shop at the same places. Yeah.
So are you hosting or are you going to their house?
They normally Thanksgiving is at my house. My lady likes to cook a lot.
Good.
I think her and my mom are getting back. By the way, full court press coming at all angles in this holiday season.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, every fucking commercial. Like, we get it, dude. We get it.
Oh, it's only it's going to get worse before it gets better.
I know. The
So
fucking.
you don't? Do you have a ring?
No. It's fucking awfully close, though. I mean, it's every day. There's just like so many things going on at all times. There's Pinterest, which is literally a terrorist organization, which a local comedian said that in Indianapolis. And I think it's one of the most true things I've ever heard in my life. We're up here putting a cat tower together the other day that was just found off of Pinterest with a bunch of cardboard boxes here and there. I mean, it's a good time. Things look beautiful, but boy, a lot of ideas popping off of that Pinterest thing, man. A lot of fucking ideas, Jerry.
Yeah. Resist. Stand your ground, man. Don't cave in.
I watched the Jim and Andy
succumb to the pressure.
documentary, by the way. Jim and Andy. I recommend it. I think everybody should watch it. Jim Carrey is
What is it?
Andy Kaufman.
Oh yeah. What is that? That's not on Netflix though, is it?
It's on Netflix, yeah. I
Oh,
watched it.
good. I'm gonna check it out.
It was very interesting. Boy, Jim Carrey is on one right now, boy. He's got this big beard and he's philosophizing at a rate that I ain't never seen before on this documentary. It's every quote is like a life-changing, altering quote.
Check him out on. Go listen to him on he's done a few interviews on podcasts and stuff. He is out there.
Could I get him on my show, AJ? You got his phone? AJ, can you text him?
You might be able to get him on. He was on Norm Macdonald's little show, who you can watch the video of it too. And he brought some bulletproof coffee. He was on fire, standing up, doing all of his physical stuff, going back at Norm. It was really good. But man, that dude, he is like he's full go. He's enlightened. He's the enlightened one.
Yeah, that's a weird thing about comics. After a lot of years, they have to get out of the business, stop trying to make people laugh, grow a beard, and get really serious. Jon Stewart's doing it now. Letterman did it.
Chelsea Handler quit comedy, and she said she's just going to be like a political kind of activist.
Oh, stop. Just make people laugh, man. People work hard all day. They just want to have a couple of chuckles. It's not the worst thing in the world.
Listen to Pat. You got to have culture.
Listen.
Yeah, stop listening to Hamilton.
His name was Alexander Hamilton. AJ, I need you to text Jim Carrey and tell him to come on my show. I want all the physical acts. I want let's start with a stretch. Whenever he was in Living Color and he was that Russian woman and he just bounced off his back. Do you remember when he did that? He just bounced down off his back and he came all the way up. He was talking about his first couple comedy routines where he just went up there with nothing planned. It was just all physical. He was just trying to do 15 minutes of physical comedy. It was just like he's an outrageous human being. If I got a chance to really talk to him, I'm not sure. I think he's on drugs. I think he's on some really good drugs. I think he's on mushrooms, maybe on a regular basis, or maybe he just smokes some of the best shit on earth at all times. Because the things that are coming out of his mouth are wow.
You're going to New York City. I think it's in it might be LA. He has like this big art studio where he's an artist now, and he has all these big old paintings he does. It's either New York or LA where he has this studio. I've watched him do some stuff. Check him out.
Oh God, just make Liar Liar too and have fun, Just enjoy yourself. Stop trying to be taken seriously, painting, philosophizing.
Dane Cook's very serious too. I think he was in that. He was in John Cena's getting serious. He's playing a bull in a new animated film.
What? A bull? That's serious now, or how's that work?
It's a very serious bull. It's a drama.
It was a joke, AJ.
Hey. Dane Cook was good there's a Kevin Costner movie.
Yes, that murder, Mr. Wilson.
Serial killer.
Mr. Brooks. Yeah, Mr. Brooks.
Mr. Brooks. Dane Cook he's a legit actor.
Huh?
He's a good actor.
I enjoyed that movie. I watched that movie a lot, but I don't think I ever came out of it thinking Dane Cook was like a good actor.
Well, he wasn't I guess he wasn't trying to be. It wasn't a comedic role. He was trying to take him serious.
I like that movie a lot. So to enjoy it, I guess the actors have to be good. So I guess he did a great job in that particular role. But I would rather he tell me jokes about Mr. S's and the BK Lounge, more pickle.
See, I don't know a whole lot. I don't know much of Dane's stuff. When he was hot, I don't know like this. Boston Garden or whatever. I didn't really follow a whole lot of his stuff.
Before he hit it big, he was working at a video store up the street from where I lived. Excuse me. And I've rented videos from Dane Cook. Remember the old school like '90s video store with the little swinging doors in the back with like the adult video section?
Blockbuster, yeah.
No, this was like one of those small mom and pop shops.
Family video.
Everyone raise your hand if you ever rented a porn movie that was rung up by Dane Cook. Oh, just me. That's
Did he
my
say
claim
something
to fame.
hilarious about it?
No, he was just okay. There you go. That'll be $225.
So there wasn't
whatever.
like gonna beat the shit out of your dick to this one. I wish I would have very much enjoyed being in that moment.
Just another creepy old Boston guy buying some VHS porn.
Oh, maybe go left-handed on the second half of this, huh? An hour and a half film. You think you're going to need it? 90 minutes, sir?
A lot of Boston people can probably make that claim. However, I'm the only one who gets to say it to the entire world in a podcast. So happy Thanksgiving to everyone out there who ever rented an adult film. If you rented On Golden Blonde from Dane Cook, if you rented Goodwill Humping, congratulations. You're in an elite class of people.
I walked into one of them sex stores when I was like 16. I seen the Armadillo. You ever seen one of them?
No. Please explain.
It's large. It was hanging above the door. It was like a mantle trophy. I was like, holy fuck. Who's taking that? What does that do?
And who's the guy that wants that in his world? You know what I mean? Like
don't think dudes
machines
are
are
buying
already
that, Jerry.
replacing us all the time.
I think that's a team party thing for female. It was. I don't know if anybody could ever handle that. It was. Those sex stores are an interesting place, though. You learn a lot about yourself in there. Like, why am I in here? What am I doing with my life? You learn a lot real quick.
And everyone else learns, why is Pat McAfee in an adult video store? Like you're recognized. You can't be doing that shit. Why is Pat McAfee in the back room? And why isn't the NFL going to send a guy in there to take a look at his junk?
So I used to roll into this hookah bar. My rookie year it was this hookah bar, and then right across the street was this like adult store. There was like 2-3 times I walked over there with some of my teammates, and boy, I just feel like it was an interesting learning situation for me and my teammates, like about me and about them, very quickly. And I don't know how people just go in there normal and just have a regular ass time in there. It turned into a full on comedy. Like I was just everything. Those beads, is that a competition? Like, what are they doing with them? Just like starting a lawnmower, right? When it just comes flying out. But apparently I wasn't cultured enough in there to understand that there's some freaks out there. I was like, oh, that's on me.
Which is why you ended up seeing Hamilton twice instead. Because that's the real you. Rapping Founding
Aaron
Fathers
Burr,
is way more you than anal beads.
Well, listen. I mean, his name was Alexander Hamilton. He was a black guy. People forget that.
Do not play that again, that song.
Yeah, please.
I will play it right the fuck.
If you were super cultured, Pat, you would go see Hamilton with 3 or 4 beads still up there.
Excuse me?
Yeah.
All right, you're gonna play some Hamilton to play us out.
I think it's something to think about. Now listen.
Yeah, play the hits. It's really the hits.
Yeah,
Good
exactly.
Good hook on these songs, right?
AJ, for legit, man, it's good talking to you. Have a great Thanksgiving. He's at official AJ Hawk. Pat, same to you, buddy. Safe travels down to New York. He's at Pat McAfee Show.